The silent goodbye. The sun had just begun to dip below the horizon, casting a warm golden glow across the quiet suburban neighborhood. A gentle breeze rustled the trees, carrying the scent of freshly mown grass and late summer flowers. In the small two-story house at the end of the street, Lily sat in her favorite chair by the window, her eyes lost in the colors of the fading day. It had become her daily ritual, watching the sunset, reflecting on life, and silently waiting for what she knew was inevitable. Lily's life had been a picture of quiet contentment. A loving husband, 2 children, and a house filled with laughter and memories. But life, as it often does, had changed. Her children had grown up and moved away, starting their own families. Her husband, David, had passed away 2 years ago after a long illness, leaving a gaping hole in her heart. Now, at 68, Lily found herself living alone, surrounded by echoes of a life that once was. This particular evening felt different. There was a certain heaviness in the air, a quiet sadness that seemed to press against her chest. It had been weeks since Lily had heard from her daughter, Emma. Though they spoke on the phone regularly, Emma's busy life as a working mother often left little time for long conversations. Lily understood this, but tonight, the silence felt more profound. She reached for the small wooden box on the table beside her. Inside it was a collection of letters she had received over the years, handwritten notes from her children, cards from old friends, and love letters from David. Her fingers grazed the yellowed edges of one particular letter, the one she had never sent. Lily had written the letter a year after David's death, intending to send it to Emma. It was a letter of apology, an attempt to explain the distance that had grown between them. In it, she had poured out her heart, confessing her regrets, her sadness, and her love. But she had never found the courage to send it. Instead, she kept it tucked away, hoping that one day she might find the words to say what she hadn't. As the days passed, Lily found herself retreating further into her memories, often revisiting moments of her life with Emma. She thought of her daughter's childhood, how close they had once been. Emma had been her confidant, her joy, her best friend. But as Emma grew older, the bond between them had begun to fray, pulled taut by the pressures of life, misunderstandings, and unspoken disappointments. One moment, in particular, stood out to Lily. It was Emma's wedding day, a day filled with happiness and celebration. But underneath the surface, Lily had felt a deep sense of loss, a realization that her daughter was no longer hers in the same way. She had kept her feelings to herself, smiling through the day, but the unspoken sadness had lingered, casting a shadow over their relationship ever since. Now, sitting alone in the fading light, Lily wished she could go back to that day and tell Emma how proud she was, how much she loved her. She wished she had been more open, more willing to share her heart, instead of letting the silence grow between them. Suddenly, the doorbell rang, pulling Lily from her thoughts. She wasn't expecting anyone, and visitors had become rare in recent years. Slowly, she rose from her chair and made her way to the door. When she opened it, she found Emma standing there, her eyes filled with tears. "Mom," Emma whispered, her voice trembling. "I didn't want to call because I knew I needed to see you in person." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She hadn't seen her daughter in months, and the sight of her standing there, vulnerable and raw, brought a rush of emotions to the surface. "I've missed you," Emma said, stepping forward and wrapping her arms around her mother. "I've been so caught up in everything, work, the kids, life, and I feel like I've lost you." Lily held her daughter tightly, her own tears spilling over. "I've missed you too, sweetheart. More than you know." For a long moment, they stood there, the weight of years of unspoken words hanging between them. Finally, Emma pulled back and looked into her mother's eyes. "I came here because I need to apologize," Emma said, her voice thick with emotion. "I've been distant, and I haven't been the daughter I should be. I've been so focused on my own life that I've neglected you." Lily shook her head, her heart aching with love for her daughter. "No, Emma, I'm the one who needs to apologize. I've held on to things I should have let go of. I should have told you how proud I am of you, how much I love you. But I didn't, and I'm sorry." Emma's face crumpled, and she pulled her mother into another embrace. "I love you, Mom. I always have. I just got lost along the way." They stood there for what felt like an eternity, the silence between them finally broken. In that moment, all the years of distance, the misunderstandings, and the unspoken regrets melted away, replaced by a deep sense of connection and love. As the night wore on, they sat together in the living room, talking for hours about everything and nothing. They laughed, cried, and shared stories, rebuilding the bond that had once been so strong. Before Emma left that night, she hugged her mother tightly and whispered, "I'm never letting us drift apart again." Lily smiled, her heart lighter than it had been in years. "Neither am I." As she watched her daughter drive away, Lily returned to her chair by the window. The night had fully settled in, and the stars twinkled above, casting a soft glow over the quiet neighborhood. For the first time in a long time, Lily felt at peace. She reached for the wooden box once more, pulling out the letter she had never sent. With a smile, she tore it in half, letting the pieces fall to the floor. There was no need for the letter anymore. The words had finally been spoken, and the silence had been replaced with love. Lily leaned back in her chair, gazing up at the stars, and whispered, "Thank you." The quiet house felt full again, not with the echoes of the past, but with the promise of new memories to come.
Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, and share our channel Magic Mingle with your friends to enjoy more magical stories.